3D modeling and CAD are absolutely amazing, and it's really the best way to get the most out of your 3D printer. There's just something really magical about being able to design something and have it in your hands just a short while later. But when it comes to designing things for 3D printing, there are some really important considerations you have to keep in mind. And in this video, I want to share a few tips and tricks that I think you will find really helpful, especially if you're just getting started in your CAD journey. This poster by Billy Rubin is a must-have for anyone who's doing CAD with the goal of 3D printing their own parts. It's filled with some really good tips that on the outset seem really simple, but once you've made a few mistakes you see how important they are. So the first tip on this sheet that I think is really important is to keep your wall thickness a multiple of your nozzle size. So what this means is that when you're designing your parts, you want to design them so that the thickness of the walls is a multiple of the nozzle size that you're using. This is super important because when your printer lays down the perimeter, if you followed this rule, you'll get nice smooth walls. Otherwise, the printer has to kind of combine different thicknesses to get the size you specified, and it ends up giving you rough surfaces. Now in Fusion, this is really easy to do. All you need to do is add the nozzle size that you're using as a parameter, and then reference that when you're modeling. So when you're actually making the model, you can do nozzle size, or whatever you name the parameter, multiplied by whatever number you need to get the wall thickness that you want. And this might involve a little bit of trial and error, but it means you're always getting a good multiple of your nozzle size, meaning your parts will look and fit better. And the second tip that I think is really important is to fillet your corners. So filleting your corners is a great way to not only make sure your parts look more professional and polished, but it also helps with bed adhesion. When you have sharp 90-degree angles on your corners, the tool head, as it's printing, it has to quickly change direction, and over a series of layers, as the print starts to cool, this can cause your corners to lift. By adding a fillet, what you're basically doing is letting the tool head move in one smooth motion as it lays down the perimeter, reducing the chances of corners lifting. And in Fusion, this is really simple to do. All you need to do is select the vertical corner that you're trying to add a fillet to, press F, and then add the size that you want. Again, you might want to try different sizes to see what suits your particular use case. And number 3 is the use of mouse ears or helper discs. So if you're printing a part where filleting the corners isn't an option, for example it's a really particular fit or it's a model somebody else has made, you can add mouse ears to help bed adhesion. Mouse ears basically increase the surface area of your first layer, and they basically act like little sticky pads, giving the bottom layer more grip on the print bed. And you don't actually even need to model these in your modeling software. Most modern slicers have these available as an add-on when you're slicing to send over to the printer. So I like to use Prusa Slicer. If you want to add a mouse ear, you select your model, right click, follow these steps and just add mouse ear, and then on the right side make sure you drag your model all the way to the bottom, as that will affect the order in which things are printed. And then once your print is done, you can simply trim these off using side cutters or deburring tool, and you're good to go. And number 4 is chamfer your bases. So if you want to add an edge to the underside of your print, either for fit purposes or for aesthetics, you want to use a chamfer rather than a fillet. Fillets on the underside of a print won't print well due to the overhang angle. You'll end up getting that sloping surface on the print which nobody wants. Whereas a chamfer will print nicely as long as it's within the limit of your printer's overhang ability, which is usually about 45 degrees. And again, this is really simple to do. In Fusion, you simply select the edges that you want to add a chamfer to, hit your S key to bring up the shortcut menu, type in chamfer, select chamfer, and then add the size that you want. On to the next tip, teardropping your holes. So whenever you're printing a hole, you want the shape to come out cleanly so that your parts either look really good or fit together properly. This isn't an issue when your holes are horizontal, but when they're vertical, there's a risk of the top part of the hole being flattened as your printer attempts to bridge over those surfaces. And then what ends up happening is the part doesn't look good, or if you're trying to fit something into the hole, it won't fit, and then you need to either get your Dremel or deburring tool out, and it all just gets a little bit messy. So a way to compensate for this is when you've modeled your hole, modify the sketch so that you create a little teardrop shape on the top part of the hole, and then extrude that through. What will happen then is when your printer comes to this part of the hole, it will create like a small arch rather than flattening the top of the circle. It does mean it may not be a perfect circle, but the benefit is your parts fit a lot better, which, depending on the case, may be more preferable. And last but certainly not least, think about print orientation. So whenever you're designing your parts, you want to begin with the end in mind and always think, how am I going to actually print this in what orientation? This is particularly important when you're designing parts that might be under mechanical load. You want to consider the orientation of your layer lines and use them to your advantage. If you print and load your part perpendicular or against the layer lines, your print is more likely to delaminate and therefore break. Whereas if you get the same part and load it parallel to the layer lines, you get a massive increase in strength because you're working with the layer lines, similar to wood in a weird way. So always keep your orientation in mind when modeling. This may mean you have to modify the design to allow for support material or any of the other things that you might need to do, but the benefits pay off in the long run when your part actually survives. So once you've got all these skills down, you might want to see how you can put them to good use. If so, be sure to check out this video where I make my very own robot arm so I can get it to do all the heavy lifting for me. And that's a wrap for this video, guys. So I just wanted to share a fabulous resource and some really important tips that I think beginners will find particularly helpful. If you enjoyed this video and you like this type of content, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below and let me know if there's other similar videos you'd like me to make. But until then, I'll see you next time.